On a quiet night beneath alien skies, she whispered that all she wanted was comfort, nothing more. But when her eyes lingered on mine, trembling with unspoken fire, I realized her heart was betraying her words. The storm outside rattled the windows of the human outpost, the wind carrying the howls of an alien wilderness that never truly slept. I had grown used to it after months of working here, stationed on the edge of her world, where humans were tolerated but never welcomed. The walls groaned as the temperature dropped, a reminder of how fragile our machines were compared to the endless strength of nature. I was sipping lukewarm tea when she appeared in the doorway, Lyra, the alien woman who had, against all reason, become the most constant presence in my life. Her eyes glowed faintly in the dim light, a soft hue that betrayed exhaustion more than danger. She stepped inside, her long cloak trailing water onto the floor. "I don't need much," she said quietly, her voice almost swallowed by the storm. "Just comfort. Nothing else." The way she said it was like a warning, a wall she was building between us. But when she moved closer, when her trembling fingers brushed against mine as I handed her a towel, I caught a glimpse of something her words tried to hide. Her eyes lingered too long. Her breathing caught for just a second. And in that fragile moment, I understood, she wanted more than comfort, even if she didn't yet know how to admit it. Lyra was unlike anyone I had ever met. Tall and graceful, with skin that shimmered faintly like starlight over water, she moved as though the air bent to her presence. Her people were older than ours, bound by traditions that treated emotions as weaknesses. To them, desire, longing, and love were distractions, dangerous attachments that could unravel entire bloodlines. Yet here she was, sitting across from me at a plain wooden table in a human outpost, her hair damp from the storm, her cloak wrapped tightly around her frame as if shielding her from feelings she had no words for. "Comfort," she repeated, almost to herself, as though convincing her own heart. I poured her a cup of tea and pushed it gently toward her. She accepted it with both hands, her fingers brushing mine again. This time, she didn't pull away so quickly. We sat in silence for a long time. The storm outside roared, but inside the only sound was her slow, careful sips. Her gaze wandered, first to the steam rising from her cup, then to the fire crackling weakly in the hearth, and finally to me. When our eyes met, she didn't look away. There was something there, something raw and unguarded, that shook me more than the thunder rattling the glass. I remembered the first time we met months ago. My best friend had introduced her as his sister, though not by blood. Her people didn't use words like family the same way we did. She had regarded me with cold detachment then, her words sharp, her tone defensive. "Humans are fragile," she had told me the night we first spoke alone. "You want too much. You feel too much." Yet despite her warnings, she kept showing up. Despite her insistence that she needed nothing, she kept finding excuses to be near me. That night, with the storm pressing around us like the world itself was holding its breath, I finally saw her mask slip. "You're different," she whispered suddenly, her voice trembling, eyes fixed on the fire. "Most humans, they ask. They demand. They expect. You don't." She paused, her throat tight, and when she turned her gaze back to me, it felt like a weight pressed against my chest. "That's why I came here tonight. Not because of the storm. Not because of fear. Because I knew, if I asked for comfort, you wouldn't take more than I gave." Her words broke me open. Because the truth was, I wanted more. Every time she leaned closer, every time her laughter, rare as it was, lit up the room, I felt something inside me shift. But I had never dared to reach, never dared to risk the fragile bond we had built. "Lyra," I said softly, leaning forward, my elbows resting on the table. "Comfort doesn't mean I stop wanting. It means I choose to hold that want back. For you. Because what matters more than what I want is what you need." She stared at me, her lips parting, her breath quickening. Her fingers tightened around the cup until I feared it might crack. Then slowly, she set it down. Her hands were trembling as they reached across the table. When her fingers touched mine again, she didn't pull away this time. She left them there, resting lightly on my skin, but I could feel the storm inside her through that fragile contact. "Do you know what happens if my people find out?" she asked, her voice breaking. "If they know I sit here, in the home of a human, reaching for something forbidden." Her eyes glistened as though the storm outside had spilled into them. "They will take me away. They will call me weak. They will say I've broken myself." I closed my hand around hers, gently, firmly. "Then let them call you broken," I whispered. "I'll be broken with you." She drew in a sharp breath, her eyes widening as though no one had ever dared to say such words to her before. For a long moment, Neither of us moved. Then, as the fire crackled lower and the storm beat harder against the walls, she finally exhaled and leaned forward. Her forehead pressed lightly against mine, her breath warm against my lips. "You say that now," she murmured, "but comfort becomes hunger. Hunger becomes love. And love destroys." My chest ached as I whispered back, "Then let it destroy me, because living without it isn't living at all." Her body trembled against mine, but she didn't pull away. Her eyes closed, her hands slid fully into mine, and for the first time since I met her, she let herself collapse. Not in weakness, but in surrender. She leaned against me, her head against my chest, listening to the rhythm of my heartbeat. Her people might call it weakness, but I knew better. This was strength, the strength to let herself feel, to let herself want, to let herself trust. We stayed like that for hours. The storm outside eventually faded into silence, but inside, the fire burned low and steady, a quiet witness to the moment we stopped pretending. When dawn finally broke, soft light spilling into the room, she lifted her head from my chest and looked at me with eyes no longer guarded. "You kept your word," she whispered, her fingers still tangled with mine. "You gave comfort, but you didn't take more." I smiled, though my chest ached with the weight of everything unspoken. "Because the truth," I said softly, "is that you've already given me more than I ever thought I'd have." Her lips curved into the faintest smile, fragile, hesitant, but real. And in her eyes, shimmering with the light of two worlds colliding, I saw what she still couldn't say aloud. Comfort had never been all she wanted. And as much as she feared it, as much as she fought it, her eyes betrayed her soul. She wanted more. And so did I.